everyone, I'm here today to show you how to make a small texture mug. First thing you're going to need is you are going to need your template, a pencil, scratch tool, you will need a texture tool, and you will also need a rib and a pony roller. To get started, I have used the slab roller. I have done a even slab and then I've stretched it out. I've stretched my slab to about the thickness of a pencil, and now I need to use my rib to compress everything. So I want to make sure it's smooth on both sides, no canvas texture, no bumpies from any type of fabric or the indents from the table. I took my original template and I just cut out the body of my mug, and I'm going to gently trace that onto my slab. Next thing I'm gonna do is determine where I want my texture on your mug. You can get it across your whole body, just a strip, either the top or the bottom. I tend to like my texture at the top. So I'm gonna take my roller and I'm gonna gently spin it all the way across my slab. And I'm trying to keep it an even negative space down here at the bottom. All right, texture's all the way across. Now I'm gonna take my same template and just line it back up. I use this bottom register, and now I'm going to cut through my slab. It might be helpful for the edges to get a ruler. Now I'm not gonna throw all this slab away. I'm gonna keep a little piece of this for the bottom of my cup. So I'm just gonna take this and recycle that. And I'm gonna keep this part for the bottom of my cup. And I think I'm gonna give it also a little bit of texture. Okay, I'll set that aside. All right, now your cup, this wide part is going to be the rim of your cup. So we're gonna wanna make sure this is gonna be nice and round and smooth. And these two are going to be our walls. We wanna make sure that those walls do a bevel or an overlap. So I'm going to take one side and I'm gonna cut a bevel on the exterior. And I'm cutting on my left. So I'm removing a 45-degree angle here. And then I'm gonna flip my slab over, gently trying not to warp the shape. And I'm gonna do a bevel on the inside, on the opposite. So I'm still working on the left side, but I've flipped it over. And I'm gonna take this slab, and before I pick it up, I'm gonna score my beveled side, because this is the side that I want to glue together. So I'm gonna score that. Flip it over. I'm gonna score this side also. And I'm gonna just give it a little mist of water because my clay is still pretty wet. If your clay is getting stiff, you will want to use slip. All right, I'm gonna pick my cup up. I'm gonna rest it on its widest surface, which is going to be the rim. And then I'm going to overlap those two bevels, joining them together. Now my goal is to try and keep my cup round and maintain my texture. So I'm just gently pressing with my thumb. All right. Now I want to keep this texture. I don't want to lose it. So I'm going to gently press this down with my thumb, You can also use a little pony roller, and I have a wood tool braced on the inside, and just press these together. You don't have to bond them smooth unless you wish, but you'll lose some of your texture from the outside if you do that. All right. And I want to bond the seam on the bottom, and I want to start working to bond this inside space. So I want to get rid of the seam on the inside of my piece. And you can flip your cup over, up, down, whichever's comfortable, but make sure that you are supporting it. So I'm going to take the seam, I'm going to use my wood tool. Whichever side is comfortable for you as an artist is just fine. But I want to bond this and get rid of any additional score marks that are undesired. You can use your sponge also to help with this process. What's nice, because there's an opening at the top and the bottom, is you can work the cup seam from both the inside or the upper, and you can flip it and work the inside also from the other side of your cup or the bottom half of your cup. Okay. So I have my body put together for my cup. I'm gonna take my sponge and I'm just gonna pay attention to this rim a little bit, keeping it nice and round and even. Next thing I want is I want to make the floor of my piece. So I'm gonna take that extra piece of slab that I had, and I'm gonna take my cup on the bottom, and I'm gonna gently cut around the cup. Okay. And just like I did with the wall, I want to make sure that I score any place where the clay is going to touch or connect together. So I'm going to score the whole outside of this disc. Okay. Flip my cup over on the rim. And again, I'm gonna put just a little bit of water here on my foot. Flip it over, and I'm going to gently wiggle this into place. You might even, once it sticks, give it a couple little taps. Okay. And now your job is to start bonding your foot into the body of your piece. I like to just use my wood tool. I'll keep it on the table and just drag my wood tool up. It's part of the reason I don't have the texture down there. I don't want to worry about bonding or blending it away. And I'm keeping my cup vertical to try and prevent any type of warpage. If you have a lot of extra clay, you can always cut some off if you feel like it's just getting too bulky. So I have a little bit too much here, so I'm just gonna remove it and just keep working this up. Another trick to helping you keep this nice and even on the bottom is you can roll your cup on your table, compressing that floor and hip area of your cup together. And you can use a sponge lightly. Again, you don't want to use too much water. You can use a rib, anything to help you smooth out your piece. Now I'm gonna let this piece sit overnight, let it get a little stiff. It's kind of flimsy right now. And then after it has set overnight, I am going to add a handle, and I will transform from cup to mug. Make sure you put this in a bag, no wet paper towel, but seal it airtight. That way it can set up and get a little bit more stiff.